Good to see you again on our channel as a member of the Bee Gees, one of the most commercially successful pop music groups of all time. Barry Gibb is recognized worldwide for his extensive vocal range and high-pitched falsettos. Many musicians envy him for his six-decade career and the fact that he is one of only a handful to have six consecutive number ones on the Billboard Hot 100. What could possibly go wrong with a family that has achieved such phenomenal success? However, hidden behind that publicized achievement were long-suppressed secrets. In order to grasp the concept, it is necessary to start at the beginning in Manchester, England. Growing up, Barry Gibb witnessed his father perform non-stop as a musician at various hotels, which piqued his interest in the field and made him question what could possibly be so rewarding about his father's job. When Gibb finally attempted playing a variety of instruments, he learned them fast and was soon able to play them without any guidance, which benefited his innate aptitude. He had a natural talent for music and could play the guitar, piano, and drums proficiently by the time he was 9 years old. A good beginning to his musical career was assured by his talent, enthusiasm, and the inspiration of his father's hard work. The arrival of his identical twin brothers, Robin and Maurice, who shared his enthusiasm for music, further solidified his interest in the subject. Together, they formed the Bee Gees, a legendary sibling band. Several of their friends and neighbors would join the brothers on occasion during the practices, which started when they were all little youngsters. The small band went by the name Rattlesnakes and frequently covered songs by Paul Anka, Buddy Holly, the Everly Brothers, and others. Unfortunately, their union did not last long as the Gibb brothers departed for Australia in August of 1958, ending their first paid concert at a cinema. But after experiencing a little of his potential success, Barry Gibb was not yet prepared to give up on his ambition to be a musician. His brothers were on the verge of giving their all to the music when he persuaded them to keep performing. It just so happened that Gibb was correct to keep going, since people started paying attention when they started taking their performances seriously and accepting any job that came their way. Bill Gates, a radio DJ, was so impressed by Gibb's singing and the band's stage presence that he bestowed the initials BG, his and Gibbs's, on the group in 1959. The DJ was also interested in hearing more of Gibbs's original music and requested that he compose more. When he was finally starting to get some attention, he dropped out of school at the tender age of 15 to focus on his music full-time. On top of his already stellar musical abilities, Barry Gibb has exceptional skills as a lyricist, composer, and songwriter. Before his band took the lead, he wrote all of the Bee Gees songs solo for 3 years. Several of his creations became famous. For instance, his 1966 song, Was a Lover, He a Leader of Men, was named Best Composition of the Year and earned the Radio 5K Award. Also in this year, he met the woman who would become his first wife, Maureen Bates, and they were married at the tender age of 19. Since he had to cope with his marital issues at such a young age in addition to the pressures of popularity and being in the band, his connection with his brothers became tense and angry as a result. He had the best of intentions, but he and his brothers frequently butted heads over issues of band direction. The last straw was when Gibb gave in to the overwhelming pressure. Frustrated and devastated, he left the band in 1970 and filed for a divorce from his wife after only 4 years of marriage. According to popular belief, music can be a powerful means of relieving emotional distress. Barry Gibb was no exception. He chose to do it alone after becoming disillusioned with everything that had transpired. His first solo effort, I'll Kiss Your Memory, was a lone single that didn't do well in the charts, although he did start recording it. This, according to critics, was due to the lack of real musical depth in the album's idea and songs, which were overly sentimental. He was unsure of himself and his acting career at the time, undertaking producing and other endeavors, seeking any means to assimilate and find his place in a world that had become so foreign to him. The tides were going to change. Luck smiled down on Barry Gibb at the exact moment he was about to give up hope. proving once again that the darkest hours are right before the sunrise. To begin, he reconciled with his brothers and the group reformed. After some time away, the band was able to better understand each other and their misconceptions, and this time they were even stronger. After the success of 1971's How Can You Mend a Broken Heart, their first #1 hit in the United States, they were inspired to start recording an album for the film Saturday Night Fever. Since Saturday Night Fever was out, Gibb has been fortunate despite giving it his all. The music selections quickly became the best-selling soundtrack, and it became an overnight success. This enormous success, which inspired Gibb unimaginably, was mostly due to his falsetto. The greatest recognition for Gibb and his brothers' outstanding contributions to the field of songwriting was bestowed upon them in 1994 when they were inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. At the same time, he was fortunate in love. He met Linda Gray, a former Miss Edinburgh, and they were married. They had 5 lovely children. Gray was also Gibb's guardian angel, and he eventually revealed this to him. But for years he kept quiet about her actions, and only recently did he come clean. It appeared that the Bee Gees were not doing so hot behind closed doors. According to Gibb, his brothers had developed problematic coping mechanisms to handle the scrutiny of their sudden stardom. His brother Morris's drinking issue escalated when he started using scotch and coke. He eventually checked himself into a rehabilitation center. Amphetamine usage became commonplace for his identical twin Robin. Although he did not play in the band, the younger Andy went on to have a successful solo career following his famous brother's death at the young age of 30 from cocaine overdose. It was at this period when Gibb's wife came to his rescue. Gibb lamented that, unlike his brothers, he was married to a woman who would not tolerate him dealing with his own troubles. "I could sneak narcotics into the house, but they'd all go down the drain. That path was never open to me. Because of her, I was fortunate to have my brothers close by, but I still had to deal with their presence." Another benefit of his sobriety was the increased energy it provided, allowing him to continue working and engaging in other meaningful activities. It turns out that this is what led to his 2018 knighthood for his remarkable charitable work and musical achievements, and he became the valiant Sir Barry Gibb. His tenacity has allowed him to collaborate with legendary musicians from the past, such as Celine Dion, Diana Ross, and Michael Jackson, demonstrating his variety and skill. But being on top is lonely, as Gibb discovered the hard way. Over time, he became entangled in his brother's ways of life, and all 3 of Gibb's younger brothers died while he was alive. When Robin, the last of his loved ones, likewise succumbed to cancer, he must have felt the worst anguish of all as she went away. He has mentioned in every interview how difficult it was to be the only survivor following Rob's death. "So I sat around moping and believing that was it." He paid respect to them by performing at the Stayin' Alive in 2017. The Bee Gees were honored with a Grammy salute for their music, which touched the hearts of many and left an unforgettable impression. Now that his brothers have passed away, Barry Gibb lives in Miami with his wife Linda as the sole remaining member of the Bee Gees. He is both carrying on their legacy and constantly expanding his own. Tell me which Bee Gees song you love the most. Leave a comment and tell us.